Welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming related topics of offering both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm your host, Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by my co host, the Nordic Cajun,
90smemes.exe has stopped working.
the Eternal Barcode, I'm 128-bit compliant.
Code 128 compliant. But anyways, hi, hello. I learned that last week my thoughts on the Power World lawsuit were a little bit off, and I've learned some things for this week. It's interesting.
Awesome.
Uh-oh.
And from the Emerald Dream, Raina, the Crit Chicken.
Great. Now I need to figure out what you're talking about with that, and I don't understand.
It's all good.
And also, I feel so old right now, especially from my job, that I feel like Jake Paul will actually want to come up and fight me.
Oh, no.
If it makes you feel any better, I made a reference to a early 2000s meme, and my coworker this week said, "What?" So, anyways, how about that Trevor Project?
Oh,
And 10% of all of our revenue generated by the show through bits, subs, and donations all goes to the Trevor Project. And our wonderful, fantastic mascot named Ping has more details on that.
The Trevor Project is the leading organization working to end LGBTQ youth suicide in the US and beyond. The non-profit operates several programs to help prevent and respond to the public health crisis of LGBTQ youth suicide, including 24/7 free crisis services, research, advocacy, education, and peer support.
Thank you, Ping. As a reminder, our opinions are our own and do not reflect any organizations we are affiliated with. In other words, we're poor, don't sue us. Yeah. Did I forget anything, Amy?
No, but if they try to, I am going to eat their bandwidth.
Perfect. Okay, so we were talking
Probably
about.
that date is.
I figured we'd save this for a first topic here. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I didn't watch it. I just heard that Netflix really screwed the pooch and dropped the ball on a lot of things. Actually
Tell me,
endangering a
is it
lot
still
of like the
Tucker?
contracts they have coming up. Like the NFL's like, wow, you couldn't handle like this meme fight and that volume. I don't know if we can trust you with.
Also, wrestling.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Wait,
between
what happened that is endangering their contracts?
Well, apparently, like they didn't have enough feeds for the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, and people were forced to acquire footage of that
other routes.
by other less savory routes. But that's my end of it. But I don't know anything about the fight. I didn't watch it. I think I went to sleep last night. But you guys were just talking about it before we started the show, and I was like, "Let's go. Let's talk about this."
I saw highlights from the fight, and
I saw that there was a full moon out.
I just want to say that the slap that Mike gave to him in the standoff the night before looked like it was a harder hit than anything Mike gave him that night.
Mhm.
And that's not to make fun of Mike Tyson or discredit him as a boxer, but if I'm not mistaken, the rule that they had a hardcore rule that there was no knockouts allowed, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they had
Oh, I guess,
set.
yeah, because Mike is old. He could actually get a brain aneurysm and die.
Well, I thought they were doing that to protect Jake because if Jake actually took an actual hit from Mike, he wouldn't know what zip code he was in. Because
I'm okay with that.
Jake wanted to have a tag team partner. He wanted to have headgear. He wanted to have all this stuff on his side and nothing for Mike for the fight because that's
Wait, he wanted a tag team He wanted a tag team Mike Tyson.
yeah. He had that was like the original rules. They of course threw them all out and made an actual regulation match. But originally it
hurting my
was.
brain.
But I want to know if the no knockout thing actually was still a rule. Because it was. That was the only reason why Mike didn't beat his ass in the first round and it went the whole 16 minutes. That's my honest, no knowing about boxing opinion.
Wow, that's insanely stupid. It should have been, if Mike wants to eat your ear or destroy you, he should be allowed to. I mean, for fuck's
I,
sake,
I
you're
will.
trying to.
I will give Jake one credit. I will give him one credit. He is a good job at making people hate him and want people to see him get beat the fuck up. He is good at that. He's a good promoter and making him look like a total asshole. And that's probably what put more butts in the seats than actually the actual title card itself.
In
But
wrestling, you call that a heel.
yeah, absolutely. And I love me a good heel. I
Well,
really do.
considering the reason why he and his brother got banned from Japan,
Yeah, that's still a scarlet
nobody
letter on
forgot
there.
that.
Wait, he got banned from. I didn't hear about that. I stopped paying
You
attention to
get-
those guys because they're all over the place.
You know that super
That's-
haunted forest that people go to unalive themselves pretty much?
It's literally called the Unalive Forest.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well,
I think I remember that.
Homies decided to go in there and do a freaking vlog in there and came across a gentleman there. I'm not gonna say much more than that. And made a whole, actually released the video of it on YouTube. Like, yeah, that's the thing that happened, and they're still relevant. Not proof that cancel culture really doesn't have full effect on people.
Yeah, it actually got brought up in conversation too with WWE when they were Dominic Mysterio or Dom. He
Mhm.
was like he was joking with one of the Paul brothers saying, "Oh yeah, I have a trip scheduled to Japan soon. What about you?" Um,
That's a
we
good.
can't talk about that.
That's a good dig. I like that. And again,
Yeah,
Logan Paul. I'm going to give another credit where credit's due. When it comes to WWE, Logan Paul is a phenomenal performer. He is a phenomenal performer. That is his bread and butter. That's where he should be. But it's so hard to forget that thing that they did. Like you want to give, like of the two, I want to give Logan the benefit of the doubt just because how good of an entertainer he is.
Oh
Jake,
yeah.
he can die in a hole for all I care. He's just an asshole. That is totally just opinionated. That is not at all an attack on anybody listening out there.
In all honesty, I think because I was kind of iffy on Logan's work in WWE, but after I saw what he was doing, I was like, this actually fits. This is on brand for WWE. So, like this was a good fit. I'm still curious as to why Jake didn't do that. I figured because I mean that. Well, if you think about it, like they were influencers back. What I think they started on Vine, wasn't it? I'm trying to.
Either Vine or the beginning of Musically or something like that, somewhere in that era.
Yeah, it was like it was like in Vine, and then it got absorbed into YouTube Shorts, or in YouTube, and then
Wait, wasn't Vine a Twitter service?
No, Twitter bought up Vine and then stopped it, like killed it.
Ah,
uh,
somebody's making a better product than us. We must murder it.
yeah. Speaking of, I'm about to like cancel all my subscriptions to Twitter and just move to Blue Sky and just call it good.
Same. And just one more touch on the whole freaking Jake Paul thing. We have to talk about all the opponents he's defeated. Just real quick, just for kicks and giggles.
Sure.
I'm getting the age list.
Were they all seniors?
Oh, I'm coming.
Good.
Like, would you have had better results if you just went to a assisted
home?
living home?
listen, he's like 27 years old, and he's like, okay, I beat Tyson. Hey, Conor McGregor. Conor,
As much of a dick as Conor McGregor can be, watching Conor McGregor with no stupid ass rules school the shit out of him would be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. You want to talk about a battle of the heels? I would love to see those two go at it. Trying to find. I saw the list earlier. Give me 1 second.
I know that some of
I've
the
reached a 10 stream watch streak.
what?
Fancy.
It's only because I've been doing nothing but podcasts. So I haven't really done anything else. So if you've come at least on Saturday, you haven't missed.
I think I've shown up a few times. I might have. I'm not really sure though.
Yeah, I haven't streamed anything else. I'm actually waiting on my VTuber, and I'm waiting for a better mental state before I start putting down an actual stream schedule again. With it being the holidays. Hey,
that's fair.
resub, 30 months. Holy crap. I mean, has it been that long?
It says 28 on my side.
It says resubscribe for 30 months. Subscribe for 28
Sweet.
months. So,
Oh, okay. Good
you know,
job, Twitch.
must have missed a month somewhere. Who knows?
That's weird because it's on auto renew.
It's all right.
Twitch is broken.
There.
We can move on. I can't find the actual age list, but they're all the average age like altogether I think is like 52. I believe was the average. So and then
Yeah,
yeah,
so he's pretty much going after people that are borderline geriatric. Gotcha. Cool.
Well, I mean, I guess if you have a fetish of rearranging old people, I mean, the legal way to do it would be to challenge them to a boxing match. So, well, all right. Well, enough about that. We've kind of, unless there's something interesting that happened, I understand that the technical difficulties with Netflix, along with just the overall, like, I think Tyson started out strong, and then it was just like he didn't do very well at the end. There was no knockouts, so that's why it lasted 8 rounds. So, who knows?
Nobody's gonna remember the fight. They're just gonna remember Mike Tyson's butt.
It was, I
Wait,
did
what
not know that
happened?
was a thing.
He apparently mooned them at the weigh-in, was
Rikishi.
it?
I mean, he was in a really
He was
fancy.
in a jockstrap. His
Yeah.
booty was showing. That's why I made the full moon reference because it was a super full moon last night, and then we also got Mike Tyson's full moon on top of it, so it was a double whammy.
There you go.
I
All
don't
right,
want to live on this planet anymore.
let's do this. Valve accused of allowing proliferation of hate on Steam.
Yeah.
this?
So I read that article. The research looks fairly solid, and with what I've seen, it tracks because the complaint is they allow a lot of like inappropriate profiles and profile images and posts and games and all that kind of shit. Why did you send me this picture of Mike Tyson's ass?
Because it
And
was
didn't you share with the class?
funny.
No, I did not. I could have lived my entire life without seeing that. That is horrendous. So, anyways, I started blasting, and I lost my entire train of thought because of Mike Tyson's ass. I hate my life now.
You're welcome, Nord.
God damn it.
Yeah, I've seen
Check
worse.
your DMs, Nord.
I did. I've seen
Don't.
yours.
I don't even know what I was talking about. This is all good. Just mind is burnt.
Yeah, we were talking about hate on Steam, and now we got Mike
Mm.
Tyson's butt. It's going to be. I imagine it's going to be the virus of the podcast, going to like proliferate
Probably.
all the topics tonight.
Like I said, nobody's gonna remember the fight. They're just gonna remember Tyson's butt. I don't think it was
Yeah.
intentional, but
No,
but
that's what I.
But
Yeah. Now I remember. No, I have seen a lot of hate. I've seen a lot of inappropriate profiles, and every time I report them, they're still up months or weeks later. It's like, what gives, Valve? I mean, clearly you've got the tools available to you because they do ban people, but does it take a certain threshold before you start banning people of people reporting? Because a lot of people don't report that stuff because they just look at it and move on and go, well, fuck that person. Or they're so offended and hurt by it, they just don't want to look at it, so they just ignore it. Like, I'm very curious as to what Valve's response is going to be on this because there is a lot of hate and it has no business being there. It's ridiculous. It is what year? 2024? Why are you letting this shit proliferate here? Like, get it the fuck away from here.
I want to start looking for this stuff. I know that I've always had a problem with Valve trying to like give me mature games like Furry Hitler, but
Bro.
yeah. But other
Furry
than that,
Hitler is
remember that.
one thing,
yeah.
but like,
But as
when
far as
I
hate's
see-
concerned, I haven't seen any of that because I don't go down that rabbit hole, which is interesting. But yeah, go ahead.
I get people adding me on Twitter, or not Twitter, on Steam, trying to be like Steam friends. And some of them have like Nazi symbolism. And so I'll immediately report the profile. But it's like, why are these bots doing this? Why are these bots allowed? Because I'm fairly certain most of them are just there to try and steal your account. But why do these accounts exist, and why are they not flagged faster, and why are they not removed faster? So it definitely does exist. I can say that anecdotally I have seen. I don't have obviously peer-reviewed statistical data to back that claim up, but at the same time, it's something I have seen, and it's beyond stupid that it's allowed to sit there and fester for months on end, if not sometimes years almost.
Totally separate but different, but same note. Because Lumi mentioned the furry Hitler thing, I decided to scroll down on my Steam just to look at what's the new and trending. 2 of the top 3 are sex games. One is Sex Police and one is Subverse. So that's a thing.
Sex Police, what?
Sex Police is the first game. It's sexual content, nudity, casual, not safe for work.
It's
The other one's called Subverse, sexual content, nudity, mature, not safe for work.
it's like Border
Kind of
Patrol,
want.
but more edging.
I kind of. I
God
kind of
damn
want to
it.
see the description of this. Let's see. Okay, for Subverse, a sexy new sci-fi parody where you command your own starship filled with the hottest babes in the galaxy who are ready to bring
No.
your fantasies to life in a fully animated love scene.
Yeah, that being said, there is, I think Subverse was the most highly advertised one. And this was outside of it. It wasn't even on Steam when I heard about it, which was crazy because it has a high production value. It's actually a solid game. Right.
And just for if you're going to scroll down and see these games, if you click on Sex Police to read the description, make sure nobody's in the room. The first video, yeah, let's just say they don't leave much to the imagination in the preliminary videos.
Most of them don't, and it's quite vile. But as far as hate's concerned, though, like, again, I haven't seen it. I mean, there's a lot wrong with the Steam platform. Like even cutting out all the mature or higher the mature rating games, you still get them in there because people will misrate them, and it's just terrible, right?
I got to throw in the fact that this game actually has the option for family sharing.
God damn it.
Moving on.
Only available in Arkansas and Alabama and Georgia. Fantastic.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, so wrong.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's a thing that's been floating around. There's also, I think, Half-Life 2's 20th anniversary is now, and I think they're giving either away Half-Life 2 or they're giving away their art book. Or I know there's a documentary as well.
You'll know Half-Life 3.
Yeah,
So I read an article about Half-Life 3.
Oh, go for it.
It got canceled because, in Gabe's own words, he was stumped on how to progress the story. And not as in just writing the story, but progressing as in game development and really pushing the style, like the game genre. And they couldn't, at the time, he couldn't think of any big game related or mechanic or engine related changes to bring to the table. So instead of just bringing out a game, they canceled it because he wanted to bring something to the table that was more than just another Call of Duty type thing. I mean, this is before Call of Duty hit it off that big, but I mean, you look at COD, it's usually just an iteration of the previous version. And they have almost cyclical annual releases, and he didn't want that. So he was a little upset that he was stumped on how to progress the story and how to progress the games industry as a whole. So that's kind of cool. A little interesting bit of lore I learned.
That's big
and
brain
that is
thoughts
part
right
of the
there.
documentary that is going on about it. There is a documentary about Half-Life 2's 20th anniversary, and about an hour and 13 or 39 minutes in, whatever it was, they start talking about Half-Life 3. It was kind of cool.
I know for
Well,
years the big joke.
at least there's some closure at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'd rather him do that than try to force out a shit sandwich.
And that's the thing, and I appreciate that. I would rather you shelve the game or cancel it for now if it means later you're going to put more effort into the product instead of just being like, well, you know what? We're just going to release this piece of shit.
Looking at you, Duke Nukem Forever.
I know for a while there was a meme that that Valve could never count to 3 or Gabe couldn't count to 3. In fact, they had like some sort of a video. You might be able to find it on YouTube where they had Gabe Newell doing announcer voice for Dota.
Mhm.
And anytime he had to announce the number 3, he didn't understand or he would say something different. Like, what do you mean?
Nice.
1, 2, potato.
Yes, something like that. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part. What number was it?
I'm sorry. 1, 2, rainbow.
So that was the whole thing. Yeah, so good stuff. I honestly think that there's ways for Valve to tackle the hate issue, but it's going to require a team of people to go through and review literally everything. Which I think they were counting on the community to do that for them with minimal effort on their side. But it sounds like it's big enough now where it's a large problem. I mean, what was it? I think in that article is like 1.8 million on profiles out of like the 8 million profiles that are on there were not desirable. I mean, that's a good portion of the player base. So,
I mean, to be fair, we have Gary's mod now, so we don't really need. If you want your own Half-Life 3, go make it yourself.
I mean, unless Nintendo
Unless
takes it
Michael
down.
Bay's involved, then he'll just sue you over
That's
stuff
true.
you've made like 10 years earlier.
Dear Lord, that I Michael Bay and Nintendo must go to lunch together.
So speaking of Nintendo, I learned things.
Yes, what have you learned, friend?
So I was listening to a interview with an IP lawyer, someone who deals with intellectual property, copyrights, and business law type stuff. So you remember how that sum of money they're suing for is so little? $64,000 US, like 5 million Korean won. Well, there's a funny reason behind that. Because when you look at the timelines of the game being released in January, when these patents are applied for in April of that same year after Palworld came out, and then them being granted around between June and August, it really makes you wonder, why didn't the Japanese patent office pick up the fact that these things existed? Why were these patents, issued in the first place? Because what it looks like is Nintendo said, oh, hey, they didn't patent these game mechanics. Let's make patent claims, see if they can get approved, and then we will sue them retroactively for releasing a game before we filed our patents for using our patents. Now, to the layperson, to most people, that sounds like, what in the actual fuck are you just saying? You're telling me that they filed patents after the game came out only to sue them for using the stuff that they patented after the game came out, so you're suing us because we used it before you patented it. Yes, that's literally what they're doing. So they're suing over patents that were filed after the game released, so after prior art. And Japanese intellectual property law and patent law does allow for prior art, which should have been reviewed properly. But the reason you sue for such a small amount is to set case law precedents. What they're doing is not illegal. Palworld did nothing wrong. They made the game, released the game. Then Nintendo filed the patents and then said after the fact, hey, you're using my patents that I filed after your game came out for your game mechanics, that I have now patented your game mechanics after you released your game. So Palworld legally has done nothing wrong. The reason you sue for such a lowball amount of money is because most companies will take the bait and accept the settlement, whatever that is. And they're only seeking damages of the equivalent of $64,000 US.
Or 2 Jeep Cherokees.
What's that?
Or 2 Jeep Cherokees.
Exactly. So that little amount is way less than what the lawyer fees and court costs will be to actually fight it and say, hey, Nintendo, you're full of shit. These patents should never have been filed. and you can go fuck a hammer. So the speculation from this lawyer who deals with commercial law and things of this nature is that the assumption is Pocket Pair will settle out of court and just say, fuck it, here's your 64 grand, go fuck off. But now Nintendo owns those patents for those game mechanics for all of these games that have existed before these patents have been filed. None of the other games have completely changed the scene as much as Power World did right away. It hit Nintendo in the pocketbook so quickly they had to do something, or at least they felt they did,
Which,
and
to
it
be
is
fair,
entirely
the
greasy
only
and underhanded.
to be fair, the only people that they can blame about their pocketbooks getting hit is themselves.
Oh, absolutely, but they
Be
don't see
completely
it
fair
that
about it.
way. Is they'll see it as, well, you didn't patent this, and I'm going to. Then I'm going to sue you for your own game mechanic. And maybe if you, even though I could lose the patent if you challenge me, and I could lose my shirt over the stupidity, I'm going to try it anyways. Hopefully, you'll just settle. Because if they settle, they make that case law precedence that says that is now an okay thing to do. Not that it's legal, that it's okay. And those are two very big distinctions. Because all it's going to take is for someone to challenge that in terms of law and have the resources to fight someone like Nintendo. And Nintendo has unlimited money, essentially. It's damn near impossible to get this kind of a decision or this kind of ad hoc standard overturned. So it very much looks like they're trying to set a new legal standard that says I can patent all your shit after you release your game after I go through it and steal your intellectual property, essentially. So what I want to do now is I want to go, if I had the money, I would like to go through all of Nintendo's game mechanics over the years, find out which ones have been patented and which ones haven't, patent all of their own game mechanics, and then sue them for patent infringement.
Can you imagine patenting platform gaming and then go after Mario himself?
Absolutely. And I think someone should do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm serious because
Moving a character in a 2D and or 3D space to get from one area to other to end in a goal.
yeah,
That's
like
your
you
patent
make
right
it
there.
generic enough that you capture every single platformer out there, but you specifically go after Nintendo. And I would sue for billions of damages because they're using my patent that I have filed 30 years after they released it, type thing. And I think someone needs to do that to them
They
so they
need
can be so it can be demonstrated to them how fucking dumb they look. It is a skeezy thing to do. There's nothing illegal about it, but the patent in and of itself should never have been granted because prior art existed, and Japanese patent law says you need to look internationally for this mechanic or this thing you want to patent. You have to make sure it doesn't exist anywhere on this goddamn planet. And patents are always filed in journals or in gazettes, usually Gazette, which is usually a government publication that says this is what the government is doing in some shape or form, or these are the newest patents, or these are the newest trademarks, or whatever. So that, it's a resource you can look at and say, oh, hey, look, this is already there. I think they're just trying to pull a fast one, and they're trying to set a new standard. And what I think it's going to do is it's going to kill the game industry a lot as far as innovation goes, because everyone's going to be too scared to do anything new, or they're not going to want to spend the time, effort, and money to try and make sure every mechanic of their game is usable. So they'll just either start releasing the most generically bullshit things possible, or we'll just see a huge crash in the game market as people step away saying, well, I can't possibly develop a game now because I can't defend against a patent lawsuit.
every fiber of my being wants Pocket Pair to stick it to the man.
Same. I honestly really hope they fight this, and if they can fight this, they should be also after they win, because they will. There's no doubt in my mind that they would win this because prior art says fuck off. But my hope is that they would sue after they win the patent case for
for defamation and all that bull.
yeah, like sue for damages because you have damaged Pocket Pair's reputation by saying they're using their own game patents or their own game mechanics that you've patented and claimed that they're using their own game patents that you own the patent for. Like, they wasted everyone's fucking time and they need to suffer. And I would hope Pocket Pair talks with their lawyer, because I'm sure at this point, with the amount of money they've made, they do have a good lawyer or law firm they can speak to. And I hope they are advised to fight it, because it's not just them that are in danger here. It is game development as a whole. And I would hope they fight this and then sue the shit out of Nintendo for damages and wasting their goddamn time. And I would want to see them suing for hundreds of millions of dollars. Because you aim high and you'll get less than that, but you aim for $700, $800, $900 million, you might walk away with 30 million. But even then, that's enough for Nintendo to be like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to do this again. And then for other companies around the world, they're like, hey, I can do this shit. I'm going to patent the fucking bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and if this goes down,
You know
and
what you
Pocket
can
Pair
patent?
does win, I want them to come out with the next Netflix documentary with Mario getting his face punched by Depresso. Please make it happen.
You
Come
can
on, Pocket Pair.
patent these nuts.
oh, God.
Genius.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think someone needs to teabag Nintendo at this point, because their
They-
behavior
they
is
need-
reprehensible.
They need a reality check. They really do.
They need to get bodied hard. And they
Like,
need to lose. They can't lose $1 million in a lawsuit. That is pocket change. They're not going to pay attention to that. If they can lose tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars on this, that will be a shocking wake-up call to the company that they're not invincible.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to see companies like Warner Brothers suing them on top of that, saying, hey, you patent our prior art as well. And I would like to see every game company that could potentially be caught up in this patent, because obviously it's patent trolling. I want every company out there to start launching lawsuits against Nintendo for trying to, blackmail them essentially, because their prior art exists and these patents should never have been existing. Because there was 4 they announced.
So many
There was
companies that
4
could do that.
fucking patents they said were being infringed on. And it's like, how did this get through? How on earth did anybody think that this was okay to let this get through and get patented? So I kind of wonder, were the people involved in patenting this thing, were they somehow involved with Nintendo in some way, shape, or form? Like, were they friends with people? Are there their own personal interests involved in this? Like, maybe if I grant Nintendo a patent, I'll get like something else. Like, there's something going on here
There's some quid pro
that
quo out
needs to
there.
be
Yeah.
it needs to be brought to light.
Yeah, I'm on the side of like there, and this is speculatory, and I'm saying it out loud that there is some level of fraud somewhere.
Because
Absolutely, it feels like fraud.
the other question I have is, even if Pocket Pair does fight, does win, and all this stuff, Nintendo still has the patent. Does that mean any game from here on forth would be infringing on that patent now too?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that. What was that?
I said that now that they have these patents, even if Pocket Pair and all these people stick it to them and beat them until even their mama don't recognize them. I'm adding more words now because I'm rephrasing what I said. They own these 4 patents now. Does that mean they can now use them in the future about anybody else making them a game that
Yeah.
has those kind of mechanics?
Absolutely. So
You would have to make a unique version of those kind of capture devices in order for it to not fall under that category
So the
completely.
patents are bullshit. What was the first one? Claims on a computer when a first category group, including a plurality of types of capture items, for capturing a field character arranged on a field in a virtual space, is selected based on an operation input of pressing an operation button. The player character in the virtual space is made to take a stance to release the capture item, and when a second category group, including a plurality of types of combat characters that engage in combat, is selected, the player character in the virtual space is made to take a stance to release the combat character. Basically, meaning something that lets you select a creature, release it, and you take a physical stance to fight. That's the first patent. So
That is
anything that lets
so
you release something to
ridiculous.
fight or release something onto a playfield makes you change your physical stance.
That
So
takes
instead
out
of
Wait,
any
so
any
if you're a
future.
hunter, so if you're a hunter
yep,
and you summon your pet,
yep, and that pet is either there to just be a companion or to engage in combat, causes you, the player character, to change your physical stance. So instead of maybe looking square on at the camera, if you're got the camera facing you, you have your right foot back a little bit or your left foot back a little bit. You've changed your stance. That is that patent. Like, what?
Like I could see Pocket Pair, I could see Blizzard, I could see
yeah,
Activision, I could see
like
Yeah.
everybody just getting on board. All the Persona series getting on board. Freak all the Dragon Quest series people getting on board. In
Blizzard
like,
Entertainment with, pet battles and hunters.
like any MMO
Like,
that has a hunter class or or a warlock class
Yeah,
that summons a creature.
warlocks. Why have you summoned me?
Even Baldur's Gate 3, because you can summon
yeah,
things in there too.
you can summon us. Us is such a cute little guy.
hmm
But no, it's these patents are just stupid. And they should never have been granted in the first place. It is
Yeah,
beyond ridiculous what.
you can even summon an Uber because now we're going into it
Oh
has
no, we
wheels
have to take a
territory.
stance and summon an Uber to go places. I didn't even think about that.
Oh
You have to lift your
no.
hand and press the button in order to Nintendo.
Yeah, you capture it in your app and you have to check out where the Uber is and then check to see if it's your driver. And you see
God
his
damn it.
little portrait pop up. And look at his star ratings. That's his hit points. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what the worst part is with Japanese patent law? I can file an original patent and then I can file additional continuation patents on top of my first one. So, as an example, I make a patent for scissors, the design, opening and closing and cutting of scissors. That's my original patent. Well, then I can then say the cutting portion, I'm going to patent in this chainsaw as a continuation of the cutting function of the scissors. And this broadsword, I am going to take that as a cutting action or the moving action of the scissors as a continuation to allow me to patent this fucking broadsword. Like, to me, that's a little bit busted, but all of these things being filed and granted in 2024. So the first one application was July 30th, granted August 27th. The second patent that's mentioned filed February 26th, registered May 22nd. The third one filed March 5th and registered July 26th. All three of these come after January when the game released. It is absolute
But
garbage.
Here's
And I
here's a
Nord,
sincerely hope they fight it.
hmm?
Nord, does that make you want to uninstall like Pokemon Go?
I'm like my entire brain and body has been really shaken up by Nintendo's tomfoolery about all Pokemon games at this point. Like it just like
Yeah.
it's not only is it attacking like people who are just trying to make a good game. It's attacking my childhood. It's attacking my kids' enjoyment of the game. It's attacking a lot of things just because one, they're greedy, and two, they can. Now,
Yeah.
now, here, here's a thought. I mean, you had
Hmm.
mentioned, you had mentioned that Canada couldn't give two cares about copyright laws in Japan, correct?
So the way it works is for you to patent something, especially when it comes to computer code, it has to meet a very, very, very stringent requirement of providing something so unique to the function of the software that it is cannot be replicated anywhere else and is not even remotely possible in a concept in any other way. So, if you remember, and I like to use this as an example, um, Amazon patented originally the one-click buy option on the
Mm-hmm.
Amazon website,
Right.
and when they launched, they started suing everybody all around them because, oh my god, if you have a one-click buy option, you're violating our patent. Give me money. Canadian copyright or patent law says that's not really unique. No, try again. I know at one point Microsoft wanted to patent the double click function as a function to patent. It was never granted, but they definitely applied. It would never have flown. MPEG 4, that video codec is actually patented in Japan and the US. So anytime you buy a DVD player or a Blu-ray player or whatever, part of the money you're spending goes to licensing that codec. In Canada, we don't give a shit about the MPEG codec. Why? Because it was never allowed to be patented. I looked it up, and it has been attempted numerous times and abandoned every time because when it comes down to prove how this is so unique that it is basically life-changing without it, and all you have to look at is like audio compression or even um, was it FM Plus or FM RDS? Yeah, radio data service. So when you're looking in your car and you have your FM radio, so kids, that's the type of thing that produces sound over what's called radio waves. I understand you don't know what that is, but anyways, it's the thing that lets you see like the station name. So when you put it on a channel, it comes up with the station name, maybe the song that's playing. That's the RDS or radio data service system. That you can't even patent because who gives a flying fuck?
The reason why I asked
Mhm.
is it's a twofold idea, question, and thought process.
Move game development to Canada and publishing in Canada? Hell yeah, let's go.
That was number one. Let's say
I like where your head's at.
let's say hypothetically, Pocket Pair was in Canada
Yep.
when they created, developed, and released Power World. Would even more now so than even more that we already said they don't. Would Japan have a foothold at all on what they created?
So the way that would happen is Japan would have to look at patent law in Canada and they could say, oh, you know what? It's not patented in Canada. We're going to file that patent in Japan. Okay, cool. But if the publisher is based out of Canada and the dev is based out of Canada, you could try to sue them in Japanese court. However, they would just come around and say, look, we're based in Canada. Go fuck your hat. You want us to come talk to you in court, file a lawsuit in Canada. And Canadian courts will just be like, dude, what? Get out of here.
I said all this to say, if Nintendo isn't careful, they're going to literally put themselves on an island.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to put themselves, not to play on the whole idea that Japan is a set of islands. That was not my intention. Pun funny, not what I was intending. But Nintendo is going to put themselves on a place where no country is going to want to work with them because of their regulations and their stringency with these patents, especially if this is just the start of things that they want to create to start really putting a chokehold on the gaming industry. they're going to get it to a point where they're going to get blacklisted from Canada, from America, from the UA, EA, EU. That's the word I'm looking for. EU.
Yeah.
All the
EA,
letters, all the vowels.
Yes, I'll take an O. But yeah,
EA
they're
Sports.
they're gonna get blacklisted to where they can only sell their games in Japan. They're gonna
that
retroactively turtle themselves.
that might happen. That would take a lot of, because then you have political capital on top of that that comes in to protect shit. So that would be unlikely. What we're more likely to see is games just not being released in Japan. Like,
Mm.
we
That's
can't
kind of what I
trust
meant.
that if we release this game in Japan, that they won't come around and try to sue the shit out of us.
That
So
that's
what
the,
I could see,
that's a thought process I was going with. Like they would only be
okay,
able to release their games in Japan. Nobody
yeah,
else would release. No other publisher, anybody would dare make a Japanese side like in their nation game because they don't want to have to deal with Nintendo's bullshit.
well, exactly, because you would end up having to, in theory, go through all of your functions in the software in the game to check to see what is a mechanic of some sort or what potentially could be patented. And now you're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for patent lawyers to go through all of your code with subject matter experts to explain what the code does and then have people to explain how the whole thing works together to then say, okay, we can patent this, we have to patent that, we have to patent this, we have to patent that. It would just become cost prohibitive if they win this and make it a de facto standard, or sorry, an ad hoc standard. And if you're not familiar with that Latin term, it means a temporary solution. And the problem is, most of us know that temporary solutions become permanent solutions. And an ad hoc
Speaking of,
standard becomes the de facto standard, or meaning everybody around you is doing it. I guess we're going to do it too. It's not an official standard, but we're all doing it. And I could see games getting limited for releases and people just not releasing in Japan because it's not worth the cost of trying to inspect every line of your game to make sure that, you know, somebody can't patent it or that you've filed all the exact patents you need to protect your game. Like, it's not worth it.
hey,
That's what I would see.
so sorry for being political here for a second though,
No, you're
but
good.
I'm slightly looking forward to some tariffs happening, just so the tariffs can stick it to Nintendo for always putting out like games for like, and also the Nintendo Switch. Power World's not going to really have an issue because things are being sold on Steam for them. So I mean, we have the DLCs and stuff like that, but this is probably better for them because now we don't have to worry about, well,
So tariffs are a funny thing, though.
yeah,
Very.
but
They
Yeah.
don't.
against
They don't.
Nintendo, it's gonna be funny as shit.
Well, the
They
problem with
don't
that
work
is
the way
that
you think they do.
it's going to make all Nintendo hardwares and licensed games or anything that comes out of Japan cost prohibitive for us. That's
Yeah,
all it's going to do.
because the importer pays the tariff cost to import the product. So whoever the distributor is in the US, they're not going to eat that cost because Nintendo Japan is going to say, hey, I want to sell this game in the US. I need a distributor. Nintendo USA is going to buy the game from Nintendo Japan to distribute it. They're going to pay the tariff and say that adds 20% to the cost. Do you think Nintendo USA is going to absorb a 20% price increase? No. Who ends up paying that tariff in the end? The consumer. Everything tariffs are a very weak way of threatening financial sanctions against somebody, and they are not useful. The U.S. has filed or placed tariffs on Canadian softwood lumber for dozens of years at this point. We keep going to the World Trade Organization, challenging the US, and we keep winning because all it does is it harms your own economy and your own customer base because now your video game has increased by 20% in price. Because again, the
That's what I
distributor in
was
North.
pretty much bringing up. The whole having the price increase will deter people from buying into Pokemon
Okay, yeah,
games
yeah.
in the first
Oh,
place.
I
Okay.
see the mindset she was going with. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
didn't
So
click
keep
right
on
away, but yeah.
releasing these consoles, keep on releasing these games. People are gonna get fucking sick of it fast.
Yes. You're right. You're 100% right, because nobody wants to end up paying an arbitrary price increase, and that's what a tariff really is. It's an arbitrary price increase that hits the consumer, and who wants to pay that? I sure as fuck don't.
Nope.
I mean, living in Canada, it already sucks buying food because it's seasonal to begin with, because obviously we live in a colder climate. And if shit is not in season coming from Mexico or the US, it's really goddamn expensive when it comes from like Ecuador or whatever else. And I don't want the rest of my products that I buy, consumer products to buy, to increase that much. And yeah, tariffs will just fuck over consumers.
America.
America. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and push this right along. Pokemon gets denied entry into the Toy Hall of Fame. It's a shame.
Good.
Well, not for any like nefarious reasons other than they weren't voted in. Like I think Phase 10 was voted in, or at least in one of the inductions for 2024. Nintendo also released a PSA saying that you should not leave your hardware unattended, for animals may find it a play toy. I think that the Kotaku, of course, took it to the extreme, which is like, which is the title of this podcast, by the way. Nintendo says not to let your pets
Golden
piss on your
showers?
Switch.
Oh, I thought it was Golden Showers was our episode title.
No. It's
Don't whiz on the Switch. I
Yes.
gotcha.
I was like, fuck it, we're gonna do it this way. So there's a PSA for you. Don't leave your hardware lying around where your dogs can play with it in its non-intended manner. So,
Fair enough.
anything else? I think
Yeah.
the Wicked doll. Some of the boxes had a porn site linked to it.
Yeah, that was funny, and I actually brought that up at work as a little PSA. If you are buying the Barbie Wicked movie doll this year, Wicked, that movie being the prequel to Wizard of Oz, on the back, the website listed should say wickedmovie.com. However, in select packages, the URL is for wicked.com, which I do not recommend you look at work, because when your account gets suspended and you get suspended, I am going to laugh because you're looking at porn at work. Now, Wicked Pictures, the owner of the domain wicked.com, may not ring a bell, but for those of you who may or may not consume more adult-oriented movies, they make such wonderful hits as This Ain't the Avengers, or This Ain't Spider-Man, or This Ain't Superman. Basically, this ain't whatever, topical or popular shows. This ain't Game of Thrones. That is another one of the. How do I know this? Because I went to IMDb. But so what this tells you, and this is an IT fail, and this is also marketing people not listening to IT people and ignoring us. Because the appropriate thing would have been for the website on the back to be mattel.com/wicked. Then it could redirect right to the movie website. No biggie. But when you print the website, you had better hope to, whatever deity you pray to, mine is the server gods, and the printing gods, that you have the right domain listed. And for fuck's sakes, test those domains first.
Oh no, I literally stepped away to go see on Harrison. He walked out the room. I want to make sure he was okay.
Aw.
So what happened?
Basically, the back of these packages of this Barbie doll it's the Wicked Barbie doll for Halloween this year to promote the movie Wicked, which is the prequel to the Wizard of Oz, has the domain on the back of. You can go to the website of wicked.com. It should say wickedmovie.com, because wicked.com goes to Wicked Pictures, who make such wonderful porn movies as This Ain't Game of Thrones, This Ain't Batman, This Ain't the Hulk, This Ain't the Avengers, I think it was, or This Ain't Guardians of the Galaxy. They make a lot of porn parodies. So all these packages have a website that shows wicked.com. And I was saying that this is what happens when you... Yeah, this is what happens when you... Exactly. So the way to prevent this, and this is a message for every fucking person out there, listen to your IT people when they say we need what is known as a URL redirector, where they could have printed on their packaging Mattel.com/Wicked, and it could have redirected right to the wickedmovie.com website, no biggie. And if they'd accidentally originally had it as going to wicked.com, they could be like, oh crap, let me change the redirect. And nobody will be the wiser because the package says to go to Mattel.com/Wicked. But no, they printed the website without testing the URL first.
Just imagine little Julia going to her mom. Hey, look, mom,
Oh
just go
yeah,
look at the
there's
movie real
fucking
quick.
pictures on Twitter of this.
From a
Mom, this
collector's
ain't Cat in the Hat.
standpoint, from
It
a
is a collector's
collector's
item.
standpoint, it's probably going to be worth a lot in the future
Oh,
because it's a
absolutely.
I am going to throw the
print.
tweet that sparked the whole thing into chat
Please.
because the tweet is hilarious. And, props to the woman who found that. That is, what the hell? Why did it copy the year? What? I'm very confused.
But they're probably the people that own that website are probably going to be like, yeah, look at all this traffic. Oh no, this ain't wicked, but it is.
Why did you?
Next title.
Follow
Yeah,
the yellow
like
brick road.
No.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Let's see here. Two more things to hit on before we go for our last roundtable of the year. Apparently, MIT study shows that AI doesn't know what the hell it's doing. Let's see. I think
You don't
the
say.
direct code is it doesn't actually understand anything, and we already knew that. We've talked about that for years, or well, yeah, literal years now, more than one. Ed gave examples of how, like, it's generally pretty good at giving directions, but the moment that any detours are involved, the accuracy falls to like almost 67%. You don't know where you're going. So there's that. And of course, we're also talking about the same software that doesn't know how many R's are in strawberry. So, yep. And the other one, which I was excited about, like I saw the heavy bounce whenever I posted it, which was an SK Hynix employee printed out 4,000 pages of confidential info and carried it out the door in shopping bags before leaving for their new job at Huawei.
Huawei is how you pronounce that. But yeah, that tells me every fucking thing failed. Every security policy, every security practice failed. And we hear horror stories all the time of people, being told they're being laid off, or when they decide they're going to quit, they're immediately escorted from the property by security, and it seems really horrendous and really rude and really heavy-handed. It's for exactly this purpose. And as you mentioned, this person copied or printed, no less, 4,000 pages of internal documents on quality assurance, problems and problem resolutions, and a bunch of other stuff. The prosecution wasn't able to prove that Huawei actually got the material, but they did prove that the person had printed it in the first place and, walked out with, as you said, shopping bags. So it turns out that office was not enforcing security policies as well as they should have been. And essentially they allowed it to happen, which is beyond bullshit. It should never have happened in the first place. Because again, the moment they turned in their resignation, they should have been escorted off the property. And if someone says, hey, I'm giving you my 2 weeks, okay, cool, your 2 weeks are now at home paid, get the fuck out. Because you have to protect your secrets. And they did an awful job of doing that. It's actually really, really funny. It's a complete fail, and it should never have happened.
Yeah, no, that sounds legit. Okay. That's all I have for this week. Anything else you guys want to talk about? If not, we can just head into the round table and find out what we're doing for the holidays.
No, that's it on my end.
Perfect.
Tell me who bought Private Division. Take two. Just tell me. Tell me who owns Kerbal now, you fuckos. I want to know, you bastards.
Why is it so
I
hush
need
hush?
names.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah,
yeah.
I know who I know who owns it.
Who?
Wicked.com.
God damn it! No. Oh, now my poor port Kerbal is gonna be like gangbanging on fucking Duna. No,
Oh
or no,
no.
that'll be the
No, they
space
already got
Kraken.
fucked over enough.
They're gonna get gangbanged by the Kraken in space. God damn it! No, my
Hey,
poor
look, Bob
Kerbals.
looks really happy today as he's spiraling through space.
Jeff,
Oh, and he's starting to
no,
burn up.
Helicopter, helicopter.
no,
Helicopter, helicopter.
no. Jeb, Bob, and Valentina, no. Oh, for the love of God, no.
All right, Crit. What's going on for your holidays? Hello.
I I I have vacation. I'm also turning 36. Ah,
Ah,
Sounds
Level
like
up.
well,
something, vacation, something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be a
Yeah.
pretty chill vacation. She's coming up here to visit. Nothing major's going on. We're just getting married.
Yeah.
No
That's
biggie.
all. That's it. That's it. The crit code becoming one.
Super goddamn excited.
that's exciting. Is
It's not like I was talking about it for the last couple of, months, years.
It's not like I sit there in our weekly meetings at work saying, this many many days until I'm on vacation, and then this many more days until I'm married. I'm fairly certain my coworkers want to wring my neck at this point.
is it a is it?
Oh, why
It's just
me?
a vacation. You're going back to Florida afterwards, or or is that your final move to Canada?
I'm going back to Florida. I still have work to do.
Yeah. For now, and then once the permanent residency and immigration stuff is done, then move time.
Okay, legit.
I still have to
Yeah.
pay off my car.
Ah, yeah, gotta pay off the car. That makes sense. That way you can actually take it somewhere that's not in the country. Yeah.
Yep,
No?
and then we have to pay the import fees on it. Woohoo!
Very nice. Cool.
Ugh.
That I think you guys covered both of yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect.
I mean, I'm just committing war crimes, and that's about it.
Oh yeah,
Of
no,
course.
I've got it
As a
Yeah,
barcode
up right
should.
now.
I actually hit 26 out of 42 Geneva Convention violations with a total of 1,504 so far.
Look at
In
you
my recurring
go.
Yeah.
game.
So
I'm going
Raising
for
that
that high
standard.
score.
Raising that standard every week.
Absolutely. I'm hitting that high score. I now have
Cajun,
disintegration ray.
what are your plans for the holidays, Cajun?
To prepare for 2025, I really want to start big. I really want to just. It's time for a rebrand, not a rebrand, but a restart or refresh. It's just time to get started between me and Harrison and content creation. We're going to take the holidays just to recoup and plan, and then we're going to start 2025 with a bang.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Maybe between what you've got cooking in the works, we got to keep up with you.
Dude, I've been so tired, and like everything has just
No, I
not
feel
been.
that.
On my side, like I've got a lot of other stuff going on, but I do want to return back to streaming. I have a VTuber coming up, like I announced last week. I saw the rigging done, and then moving my
It looks
avatar
nice.
around. It looks neat, so I'm down.
Yeah, you sent me that video. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, so now I just need to figure out how to work VTube Studio, and I think I'm good. But yeah, no, like that's good.
I was gonna say one day I want to do the VTuber thing, but
Oh, dude, this was like
Hey, that's
150
that
bucks out the
that
door.
that. I think that time might be coming. I do. I believe.
Mhm.
maybe.
So
I mean, now what you do is you get like a full blown just VTuber with a boomkin like headdress and feathers and leaves and stuff, and you're just golden. Like you'd be perfect.
Be like Doug Gordon, have our own body pillow. Ooh,
God damn it.
Yeah,
No!
what?
there you go.
coming to
Oh,
an Etsy store near you.
And Amy goes, "That's my wife."
my wife.
Yes, very nice. Yes.
Very nice.
But I'm not doing anything too interesting. I'm going to try to stream over the next like 2 months while I have time. Still have coding to do. I've got other things going on. I think after this talk of patent stuff, I might actually have IME proxy a game development company in Canada and be like, "Here's some code, IME. You should totally release this."
Woo!
Yeah, mechanics, fuck you. It's mine. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. It's episode 84. We're done. Episode 85, sometime in January, probably second weekend, depending on what everybody's doing. I'll check in with you guys after New Year's and figure out what's going on. Yes, celebrate.
Yes.
So, all right, everyone. Thank you very much. We'll catch you again in January. It's been awesome. It's been a pleasure. May your
Yes,
rest of your
safe and happy holiday season, whatever that happens to be that you're celebrating. I hope it is a fantastic one.
absolutely. All right.
What the hell was that sound?
That was a Pokemon sound. I just can't remember which one it is.
Level up. The
Oh.
level up sound.
Ah, that's right, because Crit's turning
Bruh.
like 34, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, no more Nintendo stuff. No,
Oh, yeah, we need to
no.
remove that, huh? Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry about it.
Oh,
Let me throw this in there.
There we go.
I think we're done for the night.
Palate cleanser.
All right, everyone.
The missile knows where it is at all times.
I think this is now a soundboard show.
It is. All right, everyone. Have a great
Tell him
end of your
it's
year.
soundboard o'clock.